All right. 11. Okay, we popping. We up in here. All right. Oh, put you right there, boy. Yeah, okay, there we go. Solar Mike in the building. And that's deep because it is called the Martian Luther the Kang Ascension Protocol. Now, a lot of people don't know that Martin Luther King is really Michael. That's his real name. You know what I'm saying? And Solar Mike is the first one up in here. Ain't that interesting? Boogie's up in here. What's good? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Boogie. What's good? What's good? How y'all feeling? Yeah, we're gonna talk about some things tonight because you know it's Kang weekend. It ain't no coincidence. You know what I'm saying? That Kang made his debut right during Martin Luther King weekend, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how we say King, just like in Coming to America. You ain't never seen no Martin Luther the King. You know what I'm saying? We were Kangs. You know what I'm saying? So when you see Kang the Conqueror, it's like a combination of Khan, you know what I'm saying, and King. You know what I mean? Yes, Saturday Night Live for real, son. Let's get it. Let's get it. What's good? Barbara's in the building. Peace. Africa's in the building. Boss Elite's in the building. Kepra, what's going on? Peace and love. Peace and love. Sup, player. Sup, player. Back to you. Yeah, let these people come on in, because I'm about to get started. All right. So look, this is what we about to do today. So, of course, in Ant-Man and Quantumania, Quantumania is the underworld. So is representing a resurrection. The black man has been stuck in limbo because his vehicle has not is not powered up, you know, enough for him to go anywhere or any when. Yeah, you ain't heard that one before, right? Yo, I don't want to go anywhere, man. I want to go any when. So he's making the deal with Ant-Man, right? So that he could get his vehicle working again. So it's just showing that you gotta go within, and you gotta utilize, okay, your quantum side, your microscopic side. Whatever the science is not about some big gargantuan machine outside of you. It's about the nano microscopic molecular properties that's up within you. Okay, this is what Ant-Man is about. This is what Kang the Conqueror is all about. And of course, he's going to win. You know what I'm saying? Because he's, for the next 5 years, he's raising hell. You know what I'm saying? What's good? What's good? Who else is up in here? Hello. Utah's in the building. That's what's up. Yes, get them likes up immediately. Appreciate that, Boogie. Appreciate that. All right, so this is what we about to do. We about to talk about the Ascension protocol. I ain't make it up, and this ain't no brand new news, but I know people hear of bits and pieces of this all the time. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they might not get the whole story or get the specifics and things like that. So, you know, I want to get into this. And on top of that, you know, we dealing with the beginning of 2023 is King holiday. We gotta put some work in. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to talking about this information with y'all. You know, I want to put everybody on high vibration alert with all the negativity and all the bad shit, crazy bad stuff that be coming down the pipes and everything like that. I want to ensure that the people are getting some good information. You know what I'm saying? Okay, just bought 2 honeys. That's what's up. Yeah, y'all got to get the honeys. The honeys is still on sale. They still available. I still got that thing cracking for the astronomical low price right now. You know, I'm only going to have it there for a little while longer. Okay, you got some Fido too. Good looking. You the first, and you the first to talk about how you done supported So Ionic. I appreciate that. Yes, it is. We are going to be talking about the honey a little bit. All right, so I'm about to get straight to it. I know I'm looking all crispy and fly. Plus, I got my black dot I am, my official I am. Okay. Right. You gotta holla at Black Dot Urban X. Okay, urbanx.com. This is where you will find it. You know what I'm saying? He got them in all the different colors. I had to get the gold, baby, you know, because I had to rock with the honey. All right. So let's talk about a couple things. All right, let's go. We're gonna go. Oh yeah, first of all, let me yeah, okay, cool. I already got it there. And I think I want to blow you up so you see the whole thing. Now, I don't know what I look like, so I'm about to check real quick. Let me see what this look like. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. I blew it up. Is it still just, it should be a full screen. Give me 1 second. No, it's not full. It's not a full screen. Okay, that's cool. Oh, you know what? I need to blow this up some more. Let me see. Yes, that. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. We'll rock with that right now. Peace, restless nature. Robert Williams, what's up? Okay, you got some. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate the support. All right, let's keep this ball rolling. All right, so we're gonna start right here. Okay, now first off, we know that the Bible, I've been speaking this for years. We go back to the blog talks, we go back to my earliest discussions in the community before all the social media. You know, I always said that the Bible is a book on physiology, okay? And specifically on the body and the actions that you take in order to deteriorate the body, the actions that you take in order to regenerate the body, the actions that you take in order to ascend through the body. All of that is in the Bible. Yeah, there's missing books. Yeah, it's encoded. But there's a lot in there to get started and really, you know, get your momentum going. Now, when we're talking about Jesus, we know Christ is a title, Christos, right? So we're talking about a seed that is to be resurrected, that is supposed to resurrect you. The Jesus is in all of us. So, you know, when people are talking about, you know, Jesus this and Jesus that, you know, most people are talking about a person and an individual, but it's really about an energy, a spiritual mind state. You know what I'm saying? The Christ energy, you know? So when we talk about the Christ energy, what are we talking about exactly? Okay, we're talking about everlasting life. We're talking about immortality, which Silicon Valley is going nuts over right now. We're talking about being imbued with the power and the strength and the vigor to get the job done, you know, because it's like they're gonna keep on using the hologram, the propaganda, the machine in order to continue to make it look like it's extremely dire and that you're not prepared. But you are prepared because you're prepared, like you was already made. Everything is already in you. It's fastened inside of you. And they spend all their time distracting you, taking your focus and taking your attention, so you do not focus on self. Because if you focus on self, then you are able to have your way out. You're able to defend. You're able to walk through. You're able to be all powerful. All right. How do we do this? All right. So first of all, what is the goal on earth? Okay. The goal on earth, they say, people, we live to die. We don't live to die. We live to actualize. We live to be able to utilize all of the resources, the energies in the environment that's given while we're here. You know what I'm saying? Because if all we're doing is living to die, then it's like we just counting the days. And then when we're dead and we look back at this time, we're gonna be like, damn, I had a crazy opportunity to do some wild shit, and I just pissed it away. So what we're told is that at the end, we have two choices, right? We either got heaven or we got hell, which is a trick because we know heaven and hell is a state of mind and is right here in front of our face. You know what I'm saying? So when you say the word heaven, you're talking about the word heave, to heave. Okay, heave. And if you notice, that's what you do to get here. This big, you see that skull right there? That is the top of the skull you're looking at. For those of y'all that didn't know what they was looking at, that's the top of the skull. Let me show you. Let me show you with the magic trick right here. Okay. This is the skull. Hey, everybody. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing, man? Y'all doing good today, man? You know what I'm saying? Y'all feeling like some Kangs? Y'all feeling like Kangs? All right, so let me take this top off. This is what you're looking at on the picture right here. Okay, boom. All right. Now you heave your way into this reality. Okay, heave ho, right? Through the ring of fire, right? And every time you get up, every time you stand up, every time you speak up, you have to lift your head. You have to lift your head. You are heaving. All right. So heaven is heaving, heaving upwards, heaving in. It is a heaving motion, but it has to deal with the head. Yeah, it is the scarab. It is Kepera. Definitely Kepera. You know what I'm saying? But right now we're talking about the skull in itself, because Kepera ain't nothing but another symbolic representation of what I'm about to get into right now. Because if you notice with the Kepera sign, I think I have it over here too. Where is it? Where I put you? There you go. Yeah, here you go. Since you want me to bring it up, I'll throw it on here real quick and touch on it. Boom. All right. If you notice, it's the same thing. And in front of him is the infrared red light. Okay. The sun, the gold, the phosphorus, the light. Because when you're dealing with elements, you know what I mean? You got carbon, you got hydrogen, you got oxygen, right? And then those are the sugars, those are the fats, you know what I'm saying? And then when you get into the amino acids and proteins, you add nitrogen in there, you add the fire. Okay, the fire, that's how we get lightning. That's why the sky is blue. That's what majority of the atmosphere is, even though they say, oh, it's inert, it don't matter, it's just the oxygen we dealing with. That's a lie. How we breathing in air every day, and the nitrogen is not affecting us. The nitrogen is all around us, and it's like 77% nitrogen. Now, when you go one step further, you get into phosphorus, which represents the light or the electric. I would liken that to what is it? Not Kazuya. What is the brother and the sister's name from Avatar: The Last Airbender? You know, you had Aang, you had Sokka, you had Katara, and then you had the firebender that was after Aang all the time. I can't think of his name right now, but then he had his sister Azula. That's right, of course, because she let out the blue electricity. That was his sister's name. That would be like the phosphorus. You see what I'm saying? While he was like the nitrogen, the fire. And that's what you're seeing right here, because you have two different types of phosphorus. Obviously, that's the red phosphorus. Where else do you see red phosphorus at? Zuko. Thank you, Boogie. Zuko is his name. And what did he have? He had the eye of Heru, right? That's what he had the scar at, right? But where else do you see red phosphorus at that we use all the time? On a match. That's how you light a match. On the tip of that stick, on the tip of that wood, there is a red coating. That red coating is phosphorus. And when you rub it against some friction, what do you get? You get fire. But before you get the flame, what do you get? You get a flash of light. And this is where you see around Kepara right now is you see the electromagnetic spectrum in the form of the wings. These two wings represents the spreading of the two lobes of the cerebrum, okay? The cerebrum, right? Which are the cherubims that they talk about in the Bible as well. We're going to be talking about a few things tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, somebody brought up the Kepara. They thought it was the Kepara. It is the Kepara. And if you notice on the bottom of the Kepara right here, most important thing, you see those three lines, those three axes plugging into the waters, okay, in the back. You know what I'm saying? These are three pathways. And we all know when we talk about spirituality, there's always this trinity of pathways. And you know, when you're dealing with yoga, when you're dealing with Hindu, when you're dealing with energy work, you got Ida, you got Pingala, right? And then you got the Susumna, the center pathway that they rotate around. All right. What's going on? Walt's in the building. I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow, homie. I ain't forgot about you. All right, so let's go back to this skull real quick. So when we heave our way into this world through the ring of fire, okay, between the thighs of a woman, okay, the water breaks and we enter. Now, the interesting thing is, if you ever had a child, okay, yes, the nadis, Ida and Pingala, very, very good. If you had a child, one thing that's always talked about is be careful with the top of their head because it's soft, and they say the skull have not closed yet. It hasn't closed yet, right? Okay, so it hasn't closed yet because of what? Because of something called the fontanelle. You got the posterior fontanelle and you have the front fontanelle. Okay, right here at this cross, and then back here. Right here. Now, this is an adult skull, so it's closed, but on a child, it's open, okay? And even with us, it's slightly open too. They just have it shut, you know, right here. Now, what does fontanelle mean? Huh? Fontanelle means the fountain. Now, have y'all seen that movie? Do y'all remember that movie back in the day with Hugh Jackman? You know what I'm saying? Where he was gaining enlightenment. It was real deep. It was him and was it Salma Hayek? I think it was Salma Hayek. I know it was some. I think it was her. It was Hugh Jackman, and it was deep. But that movie was called The Fountain of Life. You know, he was playing himself in different ages through he was a different person throughout the ages, and was looking for the fountain of youth through this tree that released this milk. Okay, and at the same time, him communicating with his son and a tree. It had all the symbols there. If y'all haven't seen it, just Google The Fountain, Hugh Jackman. Great movie, blow your mind. Now, The reason why this is called a fountain is because that's exactly what this is. This is the connection to the all consciousness. You know what I'm saying? To the energy. Oh, David's in the building. What's up, David? I didn't even know that was you that said the 90s. I'm tripping. I didn't even read the name. Was it Penelope Cruz? Maybe it was Penelope Cruz. I thought it was Salma Hayek, but I could be wrong. The fountain, okay, connects us. It's a spewing of energy. It's a connection of the conscious mind. This is the door, okay? And if you look at it, it looks like it opens up, and it does. This skull, this top of your head right here, okay? This opens up, and this is the means in which the cosmic forces, the cosmic energies enter into the sacred technology of your brain to begin the process of ascension. Now, of course, ascension starts from within, because you have to have the intent to want to ascend and gain enlightenment and be greater and be full of light. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you got melanin, you know, so you're going to always dance with the light. But if you don't have a certain amount of intention with it, then you're going to squander it. You know what I mean? Let me get them like buttons. Like buttons. For those of y'all ain't got none of the honey yet, jump on the honey. All right. So what happens after you pass through the fontanelle? Okay. What happens when you pass through the fontanelle? Okay. Once you pass through the fontanelle, now you're going to actually get inside the brain itself. Okay. But there are certain parts of the brain that you're going to end up, that the cosmic light, these electromagnetic frequencies are going to interact with to start this process. Okay. Rachel Wise. Yes, it is. Rachel Wise. Yeah, I know Rachel Wise is a white woman, but you know, she got that kind of like, I guess, Italian vibe to her too. That's why it just didn't register like that. Yeah, Rachel Wise, she different. She like Monica, what's her name? Monica Bella from the Matrix. All right. So let's go to this next slide. All right. So I did a video a few weeks ago called Merry Christmas, and I got flack for that. Haters, bro, trolls and everything, talking about some not UKT. You getting caught up in the propaganda, celebrating some satanic pagan ritual with the Satan. Santa don't mean Satan, because when you see Santa, all right, in herbology, okay, because you have different herbs that are called Santa. Santa means sacred, and it means holy. Okay, Santa means holy, and it means sacred. Okay. Do I even have my, where's my, what's the name at? Let me get this. Yeah, let me see if it's in here. Let me see. Let some more people come up in here. Okay, yeah, y'all starting to slide up in here, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. No. Yeah, I'm looking for something. Yeah, that ain't it. I'm looking for there's a few. It's escaping me right now, but you definitely got Herba Santa, and then you got Hoja Santa as well. But there's another. Oh, there's Cardo Santo. That's one. Boom, that just popped in my head, right? So you got the Cardo Santo. That's another sacred bark. The Cardo Santo is a fancy way of saying quassia, you know what I mean, which is a form of cascara, and cascara sagrada is sacred bark. So when you say Santa, you're talking about something sacred, you're talking about something holy. And when you're saying claws, you're talking about claustrum. And it's deep because the first food that you eat after you come out that ring of fire with that fontanelle busting through is claustrum, you know. But the claustrum is a region inside of the brain that connects directly to consciousness. There's actually these experiments that were done where they applied an electrical impulse to this region, and it caused the person to just kind of like stare into space. And then they hit it again, and then they resumed what they was doing with no recollection that they like blacked out. What's up, King Simon? King Simon's in the building. You and Mr. G had a good show the other night talking about that real-ish, boy. You know, y'all need to go back on Abelardo Guerrero's channel, Mr. G's channel, and check that live out. That was a good show y'all did. A lot of gems up in there. But yeah, we talking about Martian, Luther the Kang right now, King Simon. Ascension protocol. Okay, that's what we're getting into right now. Right now, we're talking about the claustrum, which is what is referenced when we're talking about Santa Claus because of what is happening at that period of the year. Because when you're dealing with the shortest day of the year, you're talking about what? The longest night. And when you have the longest night, that means that you're talking about the lights. Okay, you're talking about the stars, the sparkles, you know what I mean, the celestials. You know, that is what is that's what matters at that time. You know what I'm saying? So as much as the natural light of the sun is important during the day in the wintertime, it's also important to get some of those celestial nadis or nodes, you know, that are flickering out in darkness of space in the evening hours. You know what I mean? Before it obviously get too late, you need to lay down and get your circadian on point. But that's what Santa Claus represents, and him going down the chimney is synonymous with going down your spine, coming into your head, going down your spine. You know what I mean? The fireplace is going to be that sacral region. That's where your fire is, right? Fire in your loins. That's where you feel things are stirring when you see the right woman. If you're a man, or if you're a woman, the right man is in that region. So this is what that whole thing is talking about. All right. So we passing through the fontanelle and the gate, the door of the skull, and we're entering into the brain. Now, of course, before you get to the claustrum, you have to pass through the cerebrum. And, you know, when you look in Genesis in the Bible, after Adam and Eve were casted out, because this is remember, when you're talking about the region of God, and then you're talking about the land where all the animals are, you're talking about the upper body, the neck, head, brain area versus the gut. You see what I'm saying? Because when you get into the gut, that's where you have the microbiome. That's where you have Noah's Ark. That's where you have all the animals. Okay, you have the most diversity. You have all of these different type of animals inside your gut, and that's where all the earthly connections lie, is in that region. So when Adam and Eve was casted out, they were casted out from being on a higher vibration, going down to a lower vibration based on how they was getting down. And in order for them to get back up in there, you see what I'm saying, you would have to make a great sacrifice, and you have to do a lot of work in order to get back in. Thus, they put two cherubims at the gate with these flaming swords to guard the entry back into the garden. Okay. And what is cherubim? Cherubim, cherubim, cerebrum, cherubim, cerebrum, cherubim, cerebrum. They the same thing. Okay. And if you look at the cherubims and you look at the cerebrum, you'll see that, it's always dealing with two wings or two something from behind. And, the cerebrum's main anatomy is what? Let's see. What is it all about? It's about, my medulla always be falling out because this magnet is so weak. Not my real cerebrum, but this one. Why are you acting funny? Get in there. There we go. All right. But yeah, two of them. You know what I'm saying? And it stretches over. Okay. It stretches over the other brains, the limbic brain, the brain stem. You know what I'm saying? You got all these brains up inside of your head. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. All right, so the claustrum, okay, the claustrum is a region inside of the brain, and it kind of sits right outside of what we talked about in the last presentation, okay, because this is a continuation of it, the ventricles of the brain, okay. So if these are the ventricles of the brain, it sits like on this side and on this side. And if you see this picture right here, and I could zoom in so y'all can see what I'm talking about. This is the skull. If you look at that gold, that's the top of the skull. This is the perimeter of the skull, okay? And this represents the claustrum where it sits inside, okay? And these are just it blown up a little bit more so you can kind of see its shape, you kind of see its shape right there. All right. Y'all still with me? Let me get them likes. Go to soionicbotanicals.com. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself some of the honey, because we about to touch on that too. You know what's going to happen. All right, so the claustrum represents an area where this cosmic energy, electromagnetic energy, is now converted into a light, okay? A certain light now, okay? It's a filter, it's a transformer, so to speak, okay? The same way that the lines come in from the power lines outside into your breaker box, this claustrum kind of represents a wall, so to speak, that's filtering this electromagnetic light, and they convert it into another type of light inside the body. All right. Now, yes, cerebrum and cherubim. Exactly. Now, when you go back and read the Bible, go and look at all the regions where you see cherubim at and put cerebrum there and start thinking about the brain and like blood and like minerals, as opposed to an actual story of people. It's personifying the body. The Bible is Osmosis Jones. The Bible is Fantastic Voyage. The Bible is Inner Space. Okay. So Satan, Satan is Lucifer, and Lucifer wasn't always called Lucifer, not until I think the Latin translations and all that came. Lucifer was phosphorus. Okay. That's who Lucifer is, because look, remember Lucifer was an angel, got casted out, then he was a devil. Phosphorus has two forms. You got white phosphorus, you got red phosphorus. You got the angel phosphorus, you got the devil phosphorus, right? So it's like when you give into temptation, then you empower Lucifer in that way. Okay. And when is Lucifer the strongest? In the darkness. When does Luciferase when do you see Luciferase active? You don't see Luciferase active in the day hours. You see Luciferase active at night. When do you see fireflies? In the middle of the day when the sun's pumping? Nah. You see fireflies when the sun sets in the deepest, darkest little nooks and crannies in the trees in your backyard. That's when they start popping up. How about when you go to the beach? Okay, when do you see the bioluminescent luciferase waters? Do you see that during a great full moon? Do you see that during a sunny day? No, you see it on its most darkest day. Okay, so yeah, phosphorus is light bringing. You actually see the word Horus up in there, you know, and the word Christopher is an abbreviation. It used to be Christophorus. All right. And Christopher is a shortened version. And what is another name for Santa Claus? Huh? Ain't it Saint Christopher in that whole thing? You know? All right. So let's keep going. We want to keep going. We just cruising, baby. We cruising. We cruising. It feels good to cruise. All right. So the cerebral ventricles. All right. Oh man, what'd I do? All right, how did I do that? All right, so the cerebral ventricles, okay? All right, so this is a picture that's of these ventricles, okay? Okay, the lateral ventricles, the third ventricle that plugs into in the back the pineal and in the front the pituitary, the aqueduct, and the fourth ventricle. Okay, the fourth ventricle. Now, if you notice these red areas, I'm gonna zoom in. Let me zoom in some more. All right, you see these red areas, huh? Okay, red areas that are if you line it up, I'm just adjusting some things. So here on this underside, right, of the lateral ventricle, and then on the top side of this one where the fornix, amygdala, and hippocampus would normally be. And if you notice, this is a very interesting part of the body right here, where it is a medium where that light that just got filtered by way of the claustrum is now being sent to the choroid plexus, and the choroid plexus is blood. There's blood vessels in there, and when you're dealing with blood vessels, you're dealing with hemoglobin, you're dealing with chromophores, okay? Because hemoglobin, right, which makes the red blood cells red, have the ability to absorb light, okay? So these vessels are there now to capture that light that now is coming from the claustrum, and they're able to transfer that light by way of the blood and the energy in the bloodstream now into the cerebrospinal fluid. So now you're dealing with a filtrate. You're dealing with a high frequency filtrate of consciousness in this cerebrospinal fluid. So let me zoom back out. Y'all with me? Let me get them likes. Start sharing. Tell people we in church, okay? Because you know what I'm saying? It's 11:51. It's about to be midnight. That means it's about to be Sunday. We're doing Sunday service, okay? Martian, Luther, okay? Martian, Lutheran, the Kang up in here, okay? The Kang, the Conqueror up in here. We putting some work up in here, all right? Oh, yeah. We're going to get to Sabi in a minute. Wait, this going to all come full circle. Y'all going to be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. All right, so the cerebral ventricles pump out 150 milliliters of blood. I usually have a water bottle around here somewhere, but you know those regular size like Deer Park or Niagara with the little small caps, they like this big. That's about how much cerebral spinal fluid you pump out a day. And it says several times a day, filling the choroid plexus with the cerebral spinal fluid that not only circulates through the ventricles, but throughout the subarachnoid Spider-Man space and cisterns surrounding the entire brain and spinal cord. CSF generally bathes our nervous system with the water, allowing buoyancy within our bony skulls and provides a helpful medium for nutrients to travel. So when the ascension takes place, when the seed rises back up, because right now we're talking about the descension. This is the coming in, you know what I mean, into the brain. It goes down, and then a germ is created, and then from there it's like put in the oven, is cooked like how you bake bread and everything, and then it rises back up the spine, and then it goes back in this same direction back to these waters again, you know what I mean, to the optic thalamus and the media intermissa. And then the media intermissa is this area that's a toroidal, it's a tarmac, the toroidal technology they got where they make an artificial sun. You got that bad boy sitting right in your head, dog. It's crazy. And this is the generator, this is the projector that is utilized. You use the waters of the ventricles, and then you use the two energies, the Eta Pingala energies, or the dual energies of the pituitary and the pineal, and this is how you end up creating your reality. But we ain't there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so blood vessels and capillaries within the choroid plexus carry small ions and molecules, including water, that will make up cerebral spinal fluid. These ions and molecules passively diffuse through the blood vessels, the epidermal cells, which make up the lining of the choroid plexus, both selectively and passively transport these components into the ventricles. Now, one ion, one mineral that is very important in this whole exchange is iodine. Okay, iodine. All right. So if you notice where it says third ventricle in the front right there, that's going to be the part that touches the pituitary gland. And then in the back here, that's the region that actually touches the pineal. All right. This lateral ventricle, the front, touches the frontal lobe. This part touches the parietal lobe. This part touches the occipital lobe, and this part touches the temporal lobe. So the whole cerebrum is getting touched, you know what I'm saying, and inundated with these sacred waters. Okay, these sacred waters. All right. So we dealing with the fontanelle, the fountain. Okay, water's all around, man. Water's God. So we're dealing with the fountain. We're dealing with the door opener of the fontanelle, you know, and even on top of the fontanelle, we got layers of meninges that cover the skull, such as the pia mater, you know what I mean, which means mother, you know what I mean. So we have mother, we have the ring of fire, we have the fontanelle, the fountain, the doors, okay, and they open up. All right. And they open up into the cerebrum, into the cherubim, into the guards that sit there with flaming swords. You know what I'm saying? And the light ends up getting processed through Santa Claus, through the claustrum, you know, and then from the claustrum, now we're dealing with the choroid plexus, filtering that light through the blood. And now that light gets transferred into other forms of light, ions, neurotransmitters, other molecules, and now go into these waters. And once it hits these waters now flush it throughout the brain, and now it's going to start to make this descent. All right. Here's another picture. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing? Okay. Still rocking and rolling. All right. So once again, the pineal gland. All right. So here's another This is another image of the pineal gland here. All right. Pituitary is just opposite of it. You know, I'm gonna come back to this part to talk about the piezoelectricity again, you know, circadian rhythm. I just wanted to show you all this image. These are pinealocytes, the cells of the pineal. Okay. All right. So when we deal with these two glands, okay, we're talking about Eden Pingala. So, you know, when you get into talking about spirituality, you know, it you know, it becomes difficult because it becomes like a bunch of jargon and people really don't know much about the body, anatomy, physiology. So, you know, they seem like they just cap it. You know what I'm saying? And you hear the same information over and over again. But when you're able to find the parallels between the process that occur in the body and terminology, which you have to go back before all of these distractions and when everything got switched up and changed, you start seeing the parallels and the consistencies. You know what I'm saying? So the pituitary gland, okay, which let me pull this picture up. Okay, so just so you know, so that's the brain, right? And then when I lift the brain up and I look inside, this is the brain inside the brain. Okay, let me blow that up. All right, and this is where you will find the pituitary at. Okay, this is the front of the ventricles right here, you see. Okay, corpus callosum splitting the brain in between, and the pituitary is right dead in the front and center. Okay, hypothalamus is right below the thalamus. Hypo means below. Okay, but let me go back. So the pituitary gland, which looks like testicles, really. You know, on anterior and posterior pituitary, they look like testicles, and they produce chemicals. All right, and the hormones that the pituitary is the master hormone center. This is where all the hormones are getting activated to be either produced or to be made. All right, now the hormones that we're speaking of right now, the two is the vasopressin, which I got misspelled. It's two S's here. Actually, there we go. And oxytocin. Okay, vasopressin and oxytocin. Ant-Man for sure. All right, so oxytocin is the molecule of love. All right, when you're in love, when you're feeling somebody, when you love your mama, when you love your children, when you love your spouse, you know, when you're in love and you're feeling that warm feeling, like there's not a survival mechanism going on at that time. You kind of like let your guard down. This is why people say you never fall in love. That's when you get hurt. Yeah, because you're not in killer mode. You're not in getter mode. You all that's down. You're open. Your heart chakra, it's vibrating. You know what I'm saying? So this is the hormone that's produced. This is what is in the mother's milk, you know, that the baby forms that attachment with the mother. This is what creates the attachment between spouses, you know, is the oxytocin, the love hormone. Okay, the other hormone is called vasopressin. Okay, and vasopressin is very interesting in regards to men because women will always say that we may be too controlling and too domineering and too protective. But with that way, because of hormones. You know, anytime women go through things, they always are able to say, oh man, it's my hormones. But what they fail to realize is that men ain't operating off just robotic oil. Like, men are operating off of hormones as well. And our hormones are going to be opposite of the woman's hormones. So vasopressin, when that gets secreted, how it affects a man is it makes us extremely protective, controlling, territorial, and domineering. Somebody try to roll up on my girl and their head coming off. That's the last time they breathe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you come and you hurt mine, it's a wrap for you. You know what I mean? And I know for any men that are in the chat right now that are in a relationship, that's how you feel about your woman. And if you don't, you need to check yourself. And, you know, for all the men that feel, oh, you know, you're going too far, or I'm cool, I'm relaxed, you know, nah, that's not a natural way to act based upon this particular hormone. This is funny. It's called vasopressin, because that's how you be pressed, and you be pressing on mugs for coming around and trying you. You know what I'm saying? So you have these two hormones, this oxytocin and this vasopressin. Pituitary is the female gland, okay, in the front of the head, you know, and it's deep because if you walking with a woman, you got your woman's back, you know, you got the six, you watching, making sure nothing's coming, you got her, you know what I'm saying, so she can go out in the world and live free, right? So the pituitary is the female, and it's reflected by the moon, and is represented by milk. So when you look inside of the Bible and you hear them talking about the land of milk and honey, okay, that God's kingdom, you talking about in the region of the brain, you're talking about the head, okay, because the land of milk and honey is the land of pituitary and pineal. I'm going to say that again. The land of milk and honey is the land of pituitary and pineal. The milk is the pituitary and the honey is the pineal gland. So the pituitary represents the magnetic. In the Bible, Mary represents the pituitary. And when we say Mary, we're talking about Mary, like in Merry Christmas, because it's a Mary energy. You don't want your woman to be angry, aggressive, disagreeable, masculine. You want your woman to be happy, light, joyful, or merry. The other term for Mary in the Bible is Magdalene. Magdalene is an anagram. Anagram is when you could take a word and switch the letters around and make another word. The word that you make out of Magdalene is amygdala. Amygdala. And an amygdala is a part of the brain that's responsible for emotions, emotional damage. And who is the queen of emotion? You know what I'm saying? Yes, the mind is the promised land. That's right. That's why it ain't about all the land out here that you buying with soil and stuff to build a house on. It's about that mental land. Okay. So Mary Magdalene is a amygdala in the merry emotional state. Mary Magdalene is your amygdala in a merry state of emotions. Okay? And is governed by the 13 cycles of the moon. Now, in regards to this ascension protocol, when you want to raise that seed, you have to look at the calendar, okay? So whatever sign you were born under, I'm a Scorpio, okay? You would look on the lunar calendar and find out when the moon is in your sun sign. So whatever sign you was born under, look in the month and find out what day the moon is in that sign. It's going to be in that sign for 2.5 days, just under 3 days. On that day, this is when your seed is created. So from that point, when the moon hits your sign, you can start your ascension protocol. Okay. Now, that is the female energy, the magnetic. Because think about it. Magnetism represents form and mass, right? Women like things. They like material things. They are materialistic. They are matter. They are mother, right? And what do we love about women? We love their ass. You know what I'm saying? Don't we? We love their form. We are attracted to them. Are we not? They are the magnetic dynamic. And when you're making love to a woman, right? She pulls you up in there. As much as we penetrate, they pull. Okay? And those rings that are in that canal when you are going through the motion of copulation, that's magnetism. Okay? With your iron rod and your current of electricity, because it's all about how the virility, they say the virility of a male. You know, what's your stamina like? You know, what's your endurance like? How strong is your erection, right? What's your motion? This is all electrical principles that are dancing with the magnetic principles of the woman. Okay? Yes. My ass. So that's what we tell people to kiss, right? So when we go to the rear, okay, to the back of the brain, okay, the backside, this is where we find the pineal gland kissing the pineal recess of the third ventricle, all right? And the pineal represents the sun energy. It's the seed, okay? While pituitary and the moon represents the soil, we represent the seed, okay? We represent the electron, okay? While the woman represents the actual atoms and the mass that are building, okay? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, you know, nitrogen, and we're the electrons, the ionization, the charge, okay? That makes things connect. Yeah, sexual healing. It represents the mineral aspect, okay? Now, minerals is what makes you think. Sebi talked about this between the friction of copper and carbon in the brain. And not just those minerals, but the minerals. How do we know? Because minerals originate from where? The periodic table of elements, okay? God's mind, mentals, right? But even deeper, when you look at the word mineral, put a D after that N, and they're minerals. Okay, they are minerals. These are different minerals, little mini minds. All right. And the more minerals, the proper minerals that you have in there, the better your thinking's going to end up being, the better you can ponder. All right. This is why they're attacking the union of man and woman, because when we have this dance, there's nothing we cannot create. So just like it was Mary and Mary with the pituitary, with the pineal, we are Joseph. Okay? We're Joseph. And the elementals are the nitrogen and the phosphorus, the fire and the electricity. We're that power. We're the power company. Okay? And we represent the melatonin. All right? And the honey. Now, how does melatonin and honey connect? Well, do any of y'all know, how do you say honey in Spanish? How do you say honey in Greek? Huh? I want y'all to let me know. What is honey in Spanish? What is honey in Greek? How do you say honey in these other languages? Here's my water. Let me know. Let me know. Anybody? There we go, David. Miel. Yes. And in Greek, it's mel. So what is melatonin? Huh? Produced by the pineal is honey, tonic. Because that's what the tonin is. It represents tonic. Now, you look at other definitions, it's going to say black. Well, the honey comes from the black bee. It's black stingless bee honey. And even when you look at the molecule of melatonin, y'all could Google this too. Let me see if I could do this real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. Should have had this here. Because God is going to show you in layers, man. You don't have to be Mr. Fantastic. Here we go. Oh, okay. I could actually put it right there. All right. So check this out. H-O-N. Honey is in the molecule, dog. Honey's in the molecule. You even see a Y with the way that the molecule is formed right there. H-O-N-Y. You know what I'm saying? I don't see an E, but you actually see the word honey in the molecular structure of melatonin. Okay? So, melatonin is the honey, okay? While the milk is the vasopressin and the oxytocin. So the oxytocin and vasopressin is the milk, the melatonin, the DMT, the PINEAL, and the other spirit molecules that are created inside the brain for spiritual awakening. That represents the honey. Let me get them likes up. Hit them likes. Let me know if y'all feeling what y'all hearing right now. You know, we have crossed over into Sunday. This is Sunday service. We are talking about the Ascension protocol of Martian Luther the Kang weekend. Okay. All right. So the same way that the woman represents months, because that's what month mean. M-O-N-T-H is the moon. Okay. That's why it deals with monthly cycles with a woman's menstruation. And with the pineal, it represents the day and the year. Because women go through monthly cycles, men actually go through daily cycles. That's why we be on tip every day, ready to go. While a woman is kind of like this throughout the month. So we more like a gamma wave, and a woman is more like a radio wave. You see? But it's also the year as well. So we have the day aspect that we're dealing with the sun energy, because the sun traverses the sky in a day, and then we also have the annual aspect of the sun as well. Okay. So once again, pineal gland, pituitary gland. This is that Ida Pingala energy. This is that dual nature energy. The sun, the moon, the male, the female, the electric, the magnetic, the nitrogen and phosphorus, the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, with the nitrogen overlapping, just like with the yin and yang. The mineral, you know, the fluid. Okay, the woman represents the fluids. You know, when a woman is ready, she produces fluids. You know what I'm saying? Everything fluid. A woman represents fluidity. We represents more rigidity, you know, with us, you know, while a woman is magnetic, which represents the magnetic field lines of circles, concentric circles collapsing on themselves. We represent the perpendicular nature, the 90-degree relationship to magnetism, you know what I mean, as electricity. And if you notice, electricity is jaded. It moves like, you know what I mean? Magnetism is so smooth you can't even see it. You know what I mean? Yeah, hit them likes, let people know we talking about some real stuff up in here tonight. I got a little itch, and I was like, I gotta share something with the family tonight. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so that's the honey. So that's why it's so important to get that Nesu nectar. Okay, that's why it's so important to get that Nesu nectar, get that stingless bee honey. Feed your brain directly. Feed your pineal. It's food. All right. It's been recently talked about how honey has a simple, almost parallel and similar composition to the blood itself. You know, so it's very good for cleansing the blood and blood purification. You know what I mean? This stingless bee honey ain't real honey. Ain't like, no, the real honey ain't real honey. It's REEL honey. Okay, so what you think is real honey is really REEL honey, like movies that fake and contrived and hybrid. But this is the REAL. This is the real honey. Okay, the authentic genetic honey. All right, so let's go to the next slide, yo. Let's keep it trucking. So it's only a few more slides for part one, and then I'm gonna do part two tomorrow, either tomorrow or Monday, and close with a bang, close with a busy. So we've all seen the Narmer palette before. The Scorpion King, right? That's right. But it's never been talked about in regards to an ascension. It's always been, you know, people talk about some cosmic elements to it, but it's really about war and conquering, but conquering what? Conquering animal self and ascending. So the cherubim are at the top of this Narmer palette. This is where Namor came from too in Marvel. Okay. So when you look up the etymology of cerebrum, cerebrum means horns. It means horn. What do you see at the top of this Narmer palette? You see two horns, two lobes at the top of the palette. Right underneath the midsection of this palette, you see the intertwining of them two animals are crossing. This is the crossing that occurs, all right, at the medulla, at the medulla oblongata and cerebellum at the back of the head, okay, during the period in the Bible that is known as the crucifixion. Now, crucifixion occurred where, y'all? I know I'm talking to some of y'all already know a lot of this stuff, so I know I ain't saying nothing too crazy. But what does crucifixion mean? Chat, hit me up. Hit me up. Yeah, Rams, Aries, the head. Exactly, David. You got it. Yeah, I got some real folks up in here. Where did Jesus' crucifixion take place? Come on, people. Let me know. Where did the crucifixion take place? I know y'all know this. Golgotha. Thank you. Golgotha or Calvary. It's going to be one of the two, but they both translate to what? The skull. All right. Because the crucifixion, which doesn't mean like the killing, to crucify actually means to amplify or to multiply, to increase in power. All right. Because when Jesus was put up on the cross to be crucified, remember, he was put in the tomb and he was in that tomb for just under 3 days. That's them 2.5 days that the moon occupies your sign. That's the tomb. And that's the time, but the tomb is actually this right here. That's the tomb. The tomb is the cerebellum. Because after the crucifixion takes place from the rise, I'm skipping ahead. I didn't even talk about going down and making the germ in Bethlehem and the nativity scene. And we're going to get into the birth of Jesus and all that stuff tomorrow. I'm just giving y'all some preview. And I'm going to touch a little bit on it before I go. But if you go up the spine, because remember, this is the vertebrae. All right. And we have 33 vertebrae. Okay. And Jesus was 33 when he was crucified. Right. And the 33 vertebrae is C4. And I got some C3 for y'all too. And as it enters the back of the skull, the crossing of the vagus nerve, all right, and the other nerves inside of this region is the crucifixion, where based on all of these nerve paths that cross over, they amplify forces and amplify energies, and then they're passed to the the cerebellum, which you see right there, that reddish. Okay, let me blow this thing up too. I could blow it up some. Boom. Yeah, so y'all can see that thing. That's the tomb that Jesus was placed in after the crucifixion, or that is the relay station that is amplifying and multiplying the nerve impulses and energies after the crossing of pathways of the nerves. All right. It sits there for 2.5 days. All right. And the 2.5 days, what happens to Jesus after the 3 days in the tomb? He is resurrected, baby. Okay. So that's when the power, the superpower comes out of this cerebellum. Now, another thing about the cerebellum that you need to know is it is the tree of life. I spoke on this. Looks like a booty and temple. There's a lot of areas that look like the booty on the body. Let me find this Egyptian picture real quick. Cerebellum. When you cut the side of the cerebellum, which I'm about to show y'all right now. Let me get this picture because this is an actual picture. And then I need to get the Here we go. Yeah, I could do that. All right. Where are we at? Right here. All right. So if you notice, let me zoom in. All right. If you notice in this picture of Tehuti and Shashat, all right, you notice that they are picking off the leaves of the acacia tree because the acacia tree contains DMT in the leaves and DMT in the roots. But if you look at the cross section of the cerebellum, the tomb, that's an acacia tree. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I could pull it right out of my statue too to show the consistency. Let's see what we got here. Let me rip this fontanelle off the skull, right? I mean, let me pull his brain out of here, right? And let me take one of these pieces of the cerebellum, and they got it real simplified, but they got kind of another version of it right here too. You see what I'm saying? But this is that tree of life. That's what's up. That's what's up. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. So we talking about crucifixion not representing a BG looking Caucasian being hammered to a wooden cross. We're talking about an electrical not biophysics, but a physics term dealing with the amplification and multiplication of power. Okay, that's the crucifixion. And it happens because at this region, as the spine is entering the back of the skull, there are a crossing of a lot of nerves that ends up amplifying this power and amplifying this energy. But before the energy is amplified, so to speak, it's sent to the cerebellum, and from the cerebellum is where it is now amplified to explode into this godlike power after 2.5 days. All right. So the main, as I mentioned before, you're dealing with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. That's also the two Ida Pangala energies that represents the two sun moon forces that are going to end up crossing, you know what I'm saying, in order to make this amplification of energy. When you're dealing with parasympathetic or the pneumogastric nerve, the vagus nerve, that's the same nerve, the 10th cranial nerve. Parasympathetic, that's rest and digest. Okay. That is the mineral. That is the male. And when you're dealing with sympathetic, that's fight or flight. Think about it. Not saying women are scared, but if men are assigned to protect women and defend women, then yeah, they're usually the ones that are more in a fearful state, while men got to keep their head together and be protective. So, we more chill, we more laid back, we more calm. They're more like, you know what I'm saying, all over the place and everything like that. And they're supposed to be our peace. We're supposed to be their peace. You see what I'm saying? And when you look at this region, before I start getting into the summary of tonight, because we just crossing over the hour mark, when you're dealing with the birth of Jesus was born in Bethlehem, and Bethlehem translates into house of bread. This is the region of the intestines and the gut and the navel. Hence why you hear something called the nativity scene, and we have a navel there. Okay. Also, what is an organ that is in this area of the digestive system? All right. I can show y'all better than I can tell y'all. Is this guy right here. All right. And this is the pancreas. Pancreas means all creator. This is why with our people, we have the greatest struggle with this organ in respect to diabetes tearing us up. Because pan means all, like pandemic, pan-African, right? And pancreas, creas comes from the term create or creation. So it's all creation. All right. That's what the pancreas is. And what terminates at the tip of all creation is the spleen. And the spleen is the manger that Jesus is actually born in. Why? Because this is the region where you have first of all, let's just talk about who talks about the spleen in health at all, other than traditional Chinese medicine. You hear about digestive issues, nervous issues, blood issues, reproductive issues, skin issues, bone issues, lymph issues. But how often do you really hear people ever really talking about the spleen? Do you know that the spleen has the ability to create multipotent and pluripotent cells, stem cells? Multipotent meaning you can make a lot of the same cell. Pluripotent meaning that you can make all types of cells. And you have red pulp and white pulp. That's why if you look right here, you see this white, but it's supposed to be more than that. But there's a white pulp region and a red pulp region. And the red pulp region is able to make red blood cells. This is a red blood cell reservoir when you're in emergency situations. And it's a white pulp manufacturing plant for producing white blood cells and lymphocytes for our immune system and our lymphatic system. So the Jesus germ that is being formed after this step down process, as this descension, as this man who fell to earth, okay, as this descending man, right? The germ is made here in the spleen, and then it flows down into the navel region, the gut region, which is called Bethlehem, right? And then from that point, it starts to rise back up through the spine. Now, when it's rising back up to get back up to the 33rd and the crucifixion and everything, like I said, I got things kind of out of order right now because I'm jumping ahead and everything. I'm giving y'all bits and pieces that I'm going to be talking about in part 2. Who has ever mixed Mentos and Coca-Cola? In science, the Oracle and I, when we were teaching, we used to teach a class in Detroit. Her uncle worked at the school. She used to teach at the school, and then one summer I was asked to join them, and we both were teaching. I was doing cooking with KT, and she was doing like a chemistry class. So one of the experiments that she did with them was the Mentos and Coca-Cola experiment. And exactly. So for those of y'all that's never done this experiment before, if you take a bottle of Coca-Cola and you drop Mentos in there, and open up the bottle, the bottle will all the Coca-Cola will shoot out, and it could shoot out like 20 feet up in the air. It's crazy. They showed this in the movie Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is a deep movie, dog. Stupid deep movie, bro. And one of the climactic scenes at the end of the film was when in Candyland, in order to destroy the mutated multi-GMO genetic bad, because the bad guy was a genetically modified organism, how he was able to destroy it was by dropping all these Mentos in this Coca-Cola lake, which made this huge giant foaming geyser. So we create a foaming geyser too that shoots up the spine. Okay, so let me read something to y'all real quick as I get ready to close. All right, so when the oil or the ointment is crucified, to crucify means to increase in power 1,000-fold, not to kill. It remains 2 days and a half, the moon's period, in a sign, in the tomb, which is the cerebellum, and on the third day ascends to the pineal gland that connects the cerebellum with the optic thalamus, the central in the throne of God, that is the chamber overtopped by the hollow, caused by the curve of the cerebrum, the most high of the body, which is the temple of the living God being, vital substance, which is a precipitation of the breath of life breathed into man. Therefore, the Holy Ghost, or breath, rather, the pineal gland, is the pinnacle of the temple. Come on. Mouse acting crazy. Every 28 and 1/2 days, when the moon is in the sign of the zodiac that the sun was in at the birth of the native, which is you, there is a seed or psychophysical germ. Okay, that means psychosomatic, mind, body, born in the or out of the solar plexus, the manger. And if you look up the spleen on the computer, they got that thing way up there. But if the spleen terminates at the end of the pancreas is right by the duodenum and right where the stomach is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the seed is taken up by the nerves or branches of the pneumogastric nerve, which is the vagus nerve, and becomes the fruit of the tree of life. Remember, it says 12 manner fruit in Revelations that you eat from, and leaves are from the healing of the nations. It touches into all of this. Okay. And becomes the fruit of the tree of life, or the tree of good and evil. Good if saved and cast upon the waters, the circulation to reach the pineal gland, and evil if eaten or consumed in sexual expression. Now, I'm not saying y'all can't be doing the do. You know what I'm saying? But on that day where where the moon is in your sun sign, abstain. Okay? Don't ejaculate. Hold that bad boy back. Control yourself. Discipline. Lamed. If eaten or consumed in sexual expression on the physical plane or by alcohol drinks, big shout out to A.A. Rashid and Lighthouse. A.A. Rashid is currently going through an alcohol purging that he has found necessary at this point in his life. So I'm sending him love and support. And Lighthouse, my man Ashraf, who got his new album Temperance, which y'all need to support. Get on that. He's Book Lighthouse on Instagram, and he'll give you all the instructions how to order his album. But he got a song called Washed, and he got a song where he's talking about the effects of alcohol. He even got a shirt that he designed that's real tough. You know what I'm saying? So I find it interesting that all of this is coming full circle, but if eaten or consumed in sexual expression on the physical plane or by alcoholic drinks or gluttony that causes what? The ferment acid alcohol in the intestinal tract. Thus, no drunkard shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. For acids and alcohol cut or chemically split the oil that unites with the mineral salts in the body and thus produces the monthly seed. So you see how Sabi always brings it back full circle. You know what I'm saying? Sabi always brings that thing all back full circle, bro. Never fails, man. Never fails. Let me see if I could where is this thing at? Hold on. Do I have it up? I'll probably pull it up tomorrow. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Bow. Pew, 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 pew. You know what I'm saying? So it is said that if you consume the foods that are going to ferment and become acid in your body, if your body is acidic, which means loss of electrons, loss of energy, loss of power, you are not going to gain access to the kingdom of heaven. Heaven is based on you prescribing to an alkaline mentality. Do you understand? This is what Dr. Sabi was trying to tell us, son. And everybody still be trying to talk their junk about him, but it's okay. I don't care. I know what I'm talking about. Of course, we got a moon cycle too. We both male and female. Men got estrogen just like women got testosterone, and testosterone is actually the dominant molecule inside a woman. It's just that women have more estrogen than men do, but y'all's testosterone is actually dominant inside of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And we got estrogen as well. Men got nipples. What we got? What we need nipples for? What a man need a nipple for? We breastfeed somebody. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we have both, but we're mainly representing the sun. That's why. What do we call when we're born? What do men call when we're born from women? What do we call? We are called sons. Okay. What are women called when they're born? They're called daughters. And what are daughters? They represent the multiplication of cells. Okay. The multiplication of cells. When cells multiply, when you make new cells, they're called daughter cells. You know what I'm saying? And when you deal with the centriole inside of your cells, which is a 90-degree right angle, you have a mother and a daughter centriole that's 90-degree related, like electromagnetism, tied by a tether, that is responsible for all of the microtubules and actin filaments that create the cytoskeleton of the body. Like I said, the woman is magnetism. The man is electricity. We are supposed to be together. We are not supposed to be apart. We are supposed to resonate. The magnetic energy and the electrical principle are not split from one another. They're the same thing. That's like saying I'm separating vapor from water. How are you going to separate water from vapor? They're the same thing. They're different aspects of water, different modulations of water. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, they are pleasure receptacles. I can't. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But you ain't gonna see no man walking down the street twisting his nipples in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's probably gonna happen behind closed doors. Behind closed doors. All right. So yeah, so you know, I wanted to talk today about Ascension Protocol and kind of put some energy out here to let you know that you are the vehicle and there's a means in order. So for all of y'all that are watching, what's your sun sign? Are you a Cancer? Are you a Virgo? Are you a Libra? Are you a Capricorn? Are you a Sag? Are you a Gemini? Google and find out. I think the moon is in Virgo going into Libra. It's probably in Libra now. I think the moon is in Libra now. So if you are Libra, abstain right now. Go right now. Your germ is being created in your spleen. Eat extremely alkaline. Shoot fast. Hydrate. Get a lot of sun. Produce intent in your mind. Right? Visualize this process because this process is happening. You know, and in the next 2.5 days before the moon goes into Scorpio, you'll be able to gain enlightenment. And it's when you go through 12 cycles of this, do you clear the hollow part of your spine. There's another part that takes you to what they would say immortality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Cancer passed already, but it's coming back around. I think we're in Libra right now, so it gives you time to prepare. You know what I mean? Scorpio, I think you Monday or Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. King's Day observed is Scorpio this year. Virgo just passed, actually. Yours just ended like today or yesterday. Aries is coming, you know what I'm saying? So just look it up. But yeah, that's what we talking about today, man. Let me big shout out to Dr. Sabi and his great works, man. I'm just saying, like he bush, son, he bush. So every 28.5 days when the moon is in the sign of the zodiac that the sun was in at the birth of the native, there is a seed or psychophysical germ born in the or out of the solar plexus, which is the manger. And manger means to eat. This is the trough that horses and animals would eat out of in the farm and on the land. Manger as in like mandible, your jaw. You know what I'm saying? Masticating. Manger represents eating and consumption. You know what I mean? So it's deep because it's letting you know that Jesus is being born out of what you're eating and what you're putting in your body, what you're mentally eating, what you're visually eating. Get that Nesut nectar because that Nesut nectar is the quickening, baby. It's the quickening. You eat that, just fast on that honey during this time? What? And this seed is taken up by the nerve or branches of the vagus nerve and becomes the fruit of the tree of life or the tree of good and evil. Now, this is what I talked about with melanin, okay? Because when you look at how melanin is made inside of the cells, okay, the melanosomes, how melanosomes are made, which contains the melanin granules that melanocytes, through their dendrites supply through the keratinocytes, they start off, right? The melanosome is formed from there's this one organelle and then it splits. This is the tree of life right here. This is where the tree of life or the tree of good or evil is made, okay? You either got the melanocyte that's made or the lysosome. The melanocyte and lysosome comes from the same origins. One is eating light. One is the digestive tract to get rid of garbage that's coming inside of the cell. Ain't that deep? Look it up. Go ahead and Google it. See for yourself. All right. So, of the tree of life or the tree of good and evil, okay, the tree of life, which is the good, is if saved and cast upon the circulation, the bloodstream, in order to go through this whole cycling, ascension, regenerative process, right? Up to the pineal gland. Evil, if eaten or consumed in sexual expression, that means deviant behavior, going around wasting your seed, being super promiscuous. You ain't got jab, but you done smashed everybody that did. You jab now, homie. You know? And even the thoughts of wanting to do all these things and not being able to control. If eaten or consumed in sexual expression on the physical plane or by alcohol, drinking too much, knocking them things back, bow, 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 bow. You know, because I'm going to get into how the intestines and the stomach and the gut is known as the alchemist limbic or the alchemist vase. It's a vase, it's a bottle, it's an alchemical bottle made for, bro. You don't even know what's underneath your skin, son. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. I'm excited. That causes ferment or acid in the alcohol and intestinal tract. So if you eating things that's gonna create acid in the intestinal tract, you're doing what happened in Avatar 2 when the sky people returned, when they were landing and they was just destroying all of Pandora to set up their base. You're gonna kill all that microbiome. You're gonna add what's that sodium hydroxide, that lye that they used to do to relax their hair back in the day. Detroit Red used to do, Malcolm X used to do, when his head be burning, right? You're going to do that to your microvilla. You're going to do that to your afro and your glycolycs and your microvilla that's in your duodenum. You're going to lay that thing down. There's no more surface area to absorb nutrients. You're going to create gaps in the enterocytes, which is going to create Crohn's disease and leaky gut. You're going to multiply the wrong type of animals. Noah's not going to be able to keep to everybody on the ship to survive the deluge because the lions is eating the zebras. And now there's no more female zebras. There's only male zebras. You see what I'm saying? Thus no drunkard shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, for acids and alcohol cut, chemically split the oil that unites with the mineral salts in the body and thus produces the monthly seed. Get some water, man. Yes, the germ that's made in the spleen, okay, is a stem cell. Yes, it is, because a lot of people don't know that stem cells are formed in the spleen, multipotent and pluripotent. But what makes the spleen different is it's the home of the red pulp and the white pulp. Okay? We talking about water in the wine, y'all. You understand? Yes, like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment. Go to soionicbotanicals.com. Okay, when I'm done, I'm going to definitely put the link. I'm going to put the link. Yeah, man, we put a picture of the brain up here. Put a link of the honey in the description. When this ends, it'll be there. The dropper bottles in the jar. Remember, that's melatonin. You know what I mean? Honey tonic, you know? And the milk, people might say, okay, KT, so how do I get the milk? Huh? Where does the milk come from? Yes, the vasopressin, the oxytocin, but what food can I get the milk from? Well, I'll ask you, what popular food that you already eaten has a lot of galactose in it? Sea moss. So get some of that C3. Go to the site, get the Conjus Crispus concentrate, because Conjus Crispus contains polymers of what? They're galactans. What are galactans? Polymers, chains, links of galactose inundated with oxygen and other minerals. Galactose, galaxy, galact, that's milk, Milky Way. The milk is the sea moss. Remember, it's fluid. What's more fluid than the ocean? You hear what I'm saying? Conjus crispus means curly cartilage. Okay, that's collagen. Collagen are semiconductors, P-type, N-type semiconductors. All right. So this is the science. So between the C3 and the honey, you are feeding and nourishing the pineal and the pituitary. You're also providing alkaline, high charge, high electron properties to the gut, so it's not acidic, and you're purifying the blood, so it's slightly alkaline, 7.365, like it's supposed to be. Wait till the moon is in your sun sign and go through your protocol. See what happens. Do it monthly. You know what I'm saying? And see what happens after 13 cycles. Yeah. All right. So, you big Cethi with baobab powder. Now put the Nesut nectar up in there. What is ether made of? Ether is ether is the medium in which all of the fields perturbate. Perturbations or disturbances in the field. Think of a perturbation like you being in a pond and you're flapping your arms and you're making all these waves disturbing the water. Okay, so when you see wave, magnetism, electricity, all that stuff, these are different modes of perturbation of the field, which is based on the ether. All right, it's all around us. You understand? It's all around us. And the energy that we tap into when we say magnetic energy, magnetic forces, and when we say electrical power, where is all that power coming from? It's coming from the ether. When you have an engine is not necessarily generating anything. What it's doing is it's tying up, twisting, turning the ether up in a gizmo that gives the effect, you know, like you taking a rubber band, pulling that thing all the way back, you know, till it has great torsion, and you let it go and it's pop. That's what you're doing with a generator. You're pulling rubber bands, okay, back, and you're snapping them, and you're just doing them in certain directions with certain geometries that yield certain results. All right, but now that's all I'm giving tonight. So ionicbotanicals.com. Okay, I think we went in the night, you know what I'm saying, gave credence to the Kang, you know what I'm saying. Once again, this was Martian, Luther, the Kang, Ascension Protocol, part 1. I'm definitely going to come with part 2. I got to get back to my herbal university, you know, with my students. I got some more lectures to upload tomorrow, so I got to take care of them and get them right. And then once I'm right with them, then I'll get back right with y'all. I appreciate all y'all for tuning in. Like I said, if you ain't subscribed yet, subscribe, share it around. You know what I'm saying? Like if you haven't already liked. And yeah, get into this ascension, because we all have the power in us. We are the vehicle for our own greatness, and we all have our own relationship with God. God is always there. It's just whether or not you want to listen. Peace and love, y'all.